What makes a compelling intro? Is it shoving the player immediately into the action, gradually introducing them to the world and letting events unfurl? Well, whatever the best approach may be, there have been several games that immediately capture us from the get-go. So let's take a look at 15 more amazing intros in video games here. A quick note before we move forward. Please consider subscribing and enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon to get new video updates. And while you're at it, please click like if you enjoyed this video. It really helps us out. With that out of the way, let's begin. Mass Effect 3.
About time!
Let's go!
Picking up after the fallout of Arrival, Mass Effect 3 sees Commander Shepard summoned by the Alliance. Not long after, Vancouver and the Earth as a whole is overwhelmed by Reaper forces. Things quickly devolve into a fight for survival as Anderson reinstates Shepard to fight back. So many key moments dictated this intro, from the effortless destruction of a cruiser to Shepard's encounter with a boy who then seemingly perishes during an evacuation. The pain of leaving Earth behind, coupled with the outstanding musical score, sets the player up for an emotional journey. NIER Automata. Platinum Games intros are as over-the-top as they are action-packed. NIER Automata, to its credit, transitioned between its introductory sections naturally, going from a shoot-'em-up to a hack-and-slash battle to 3D exploration to side-scrolling combat without losing a beat. Even the first proper boss fight is one of the best in the game. But most significant is just how many little winks and nudges are present, hinting at the soul-crushing events to come. God of War 2018.
Found some.
Get in the boat, boy.
Kratos appears after years of absence, looking older but still as fierce. After a moment, he cuts down a tree, hoists it onto a boat, and begins a slow ride with his son Atreus. Finally, the duo arrive at home and cremate the body of Faye, Kratos' wife, before hunting for deer. In the first 10 minutes, the uneasy relationship between Kratos and his son and how Faye seemingly kept the family together is felt, while this new, mysterious world opens up to fans. Of course, it's not long before combat begins, and the two must take down waves of Draugrs before battling a massive troll. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Prepare for drop-off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spread your wings and fly. God be with you.
Say what you will about the series' heavy-handed exposition, but Metal Gear Solid 3's setup doesn't waste any time. On board a cargo plane, a mysterious figure puts out a cigar, puts on his mask, and makes the first Halo jump without any hesitation. The year is 1964, and the Cold War is still in full swing. An individual named Jack is briefed on the Virtuous mission to rescue the defecting Soviet scientist Sokolov. When he lands and removes his helmet, we see Raiden, but before the outrage can set in, he removes the mask and reveals Naked Snake, voiced by David Hayter, at last. Ghost of Tsushima. From the very moment you boot up the game, you're thrown into the chaos that is Tsushima's samurai versus Khotan Khan's Mongol army. Jin Sakai and his uncle Lord Shimura overlook the invading fleet, proclaiming the samurai's honor. Following Khan's dastardly response, the battle begins in earnest. Flaming arrows dotting the skies, and the horseback samurai colliding with the Mongols. The bodies begin piling up, and it's not long before Jin and Lord Shimura are separated. The pacing eventually shifts towards Jin awakening thanks to the help of a thief named Yuna, recovering his sword and facing the Khan in a hopeless battle.
Khotan Khan! I am Jin Sakai, nephew of Lord Shimura.
These moments enlighten the player on Jin's upbringing, his honor, and ultimately what he must do if he hopes to win against the invaders. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Several Zelda games start the journey with an awakening, and Breath of the Wild is no exception. The circumstances are drastically different though, starting in a mysterious facility as Link acquires the Sheikah Slate. As the door opens, light shines in, and the player emerges on a cliff overlooking Hyrule. The gentle atmosphere permeates this setup, belies the dangers ahead as Link unearths Sheikah Towers, completes shrines for rune abilities, and ultimately sets out to rescue Princess Zelda. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Talk about a near-perfect setup to a video game. The game introduces you to Talion's family, specifically his son and wife. This is followed by a sequence which sees the Uruks attacking Talion and his family. Talion witnesses them getting murdered, and eventually they kill him, only for him to meet a wraith on top of a watchtower in Mordor. Mass Effect. The game starts with Commander Shepard peering at the stars, before mankind's space exploits in the future are briefly explained. Shepard explores the ship, meeting its pilot Joker and learning more about the journey. A Prothean beacon was discovered on the planet, and Nihilus, a Spectre, accompanies the crew while also evaluating Shepard. It's not long before a distress call comes in. Shepard and a small squad venture to the surface to retrieve the beacon, fighting off Geth and encountering Ashley Williams, before learning more about the Reapers, Saren, and what's to come. The Last of Us. While we were exposed to the post-apocalyptic world of The Last of Us before its release, the actual beginning of the game hits differently. It sees Joel returning home from work to his daughter Sarah, who surprises him with a birthday present. Eventually, Sarah falls asleep, only to be awoken by a frantic call from her uncle Tommy. Upon locating her father, total pandemonium ensues, with the three doing everything they can to survive against the infected. Unfortunately, Sarah doesn't, leading to one of the more heartbreaking moments in the game.
Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on. No.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. After Earth is caught up in a battle between alien forces, humanity bands together for Project Exodus, which sees several spacebound arcs evacuating the planet. The player's ship, the White Whale, wanders for 2 years, searching for a new home, but it's not long before the aliens attack again. The White Whale crashes onto an uncharted planet's surface, and 2 months later the player awakens thanks to Elma. The rain eventually clears up and the sun rises, showcasing the new planet and its indigenous life in all of its glory. What dangers await? Well, it's up to the player to find out, marking an altogether different kind of Xenoblade journey compared to the others. The Evil Within 2. Following the cliffhanger ending of The Evil Within 2 begins on a more personal note. Detective Sebastian Castellanos sees his house on fire and rushes inside to save his daughter Lily. This is a flashback though. Fast forward 3 years later, and Sebastian has left the police, abandoned by his wife after their daughter's death. Suddenly, the former partner, Julie Kidman, appears, telling him that Lily is alive as a part of a new STEM system. With contact being lost, it's up to Sebastian to venture inside to the simulated town of Union and find her. It's all very Alice in Wonderland-esque, right down to the through the looking glass bit, but all kinds of nightmares await. Dead Space 2. A brief montage of events from Dead Space 1 plays out, but it's eventually revealed that, yes, Isaac Clarke survived. Unfortunately, he's not doing too great. Stuck in a straitjacket, he remembers his encounter with the marker, while the hallucination of Nicole screams to, quote, "make us whole." This leads to Isaac being awoken by personnel later and told that he's in great danger, right before said personnel is killed and turned into a necromorph. Much like the first game, you're left to run through the hallways without a weapon, narrowly avoiding the horror around you and exploring the infested sprawl. Super Metroid. Samus has already been through a lot, depositing a survival Metroid larva at Ceres Station. Things seem great when she leaves, until the station suddenly sends out a distress beacon. Samus returns to find the scientist dead and the Metroid missing, and upon locating it, Ridley suddenly arrives. After a short battle, he escapes with the Metroid. Samus is left to evacuate the station as the self-destruct timer counts down, a classic trope in the series that precedes the journey to Zebes and eventual hunt for Ridley. Prey, 2017. Morgan Yu wakes up in their apartment, checks their emails, admires the gorgeous view of the cityscape, and gets ready for their day. boarding a helicopter to the TranStar testing facility as sleek credits and mountain ranges are seen. There's an overall serenity to Prey's setup. It's not long before things go haywire during the tests, though. Suddenly, Morgan is awake in their apartment again, but something is off. The mail warns them of danger, and the technicians in the halls are dead. Upon trying to open the balcony door, Morgan smashes through the window instead, revealing that the incredible view has been staged this whole time. What's going on in Prey? What is the truth? Morgan's quest to find out starts here. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Get down here, Merc.
There are very few role-playing games that can top the original Final Fantasy VII setup, and the remake's gorgeous visuals and presentation take it to a whole new level. From the beginning shot of Aerith, which zooms out to showcase Midgar, to Cloud disembarking a train and battling foes, it all remains iconic. Of course, it's also expanded with additional dialogue for Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, not to mention a much more high-octane Scorpion Sentinel boss fight. Even the fallout of the reactor bombing is more involved, as it showcases the citizens caught up in the incident. And with that, we reached the end of the video. Have anything to say? Let us know in the comments below. Also, we upload new videos every single day on Gaming Bolt, so please consider subscribing, as it really helps us out. Thanks for watching.